This is definitely the thumbnail. Ready?
How much did you spend and how much did you...
Okay, look, I'm gonna get asked how much money did I spend on this thing? And the answer is yes, I spent money. My wife watches this, so I just smile. My name is Suppy, and behind me is my 1995 Acura Integra.
What is this car?
Okay, so this is a car that I started building about 4.5 years ago. As a kid, I built a few and they just didn't turn out very well. And I figured, you know what? I'm gonna try it again. So this time it's a little different. Instead of building a front wheel drive car, I built an all wheel drive car. A big inspiration was Ken. I was watching him launch the Unicorn. And I thought, I could do that. But obviously I didn't want to build a big old hunkin' V8. I wanted to keep the B series because I grew up with it and I know that engine. I know the K series also, but I wanted to keep the car somewhat period correct. I'm not a purist by any means, but you know, there's inherent problems with putting a K series into an Integra. Like most YouTube builds, everything's 1,000+ horsepower and they are super shit to drive. I didn't want that. I had to make sure that this car I could live with, I could drive and have a fun time. I didn't want to fight this thing. I want to have fun with this thing.
What did you start with? What was the first thing?
So it was actually interesting. When I first started this, I didn't even have the car. I actually bought the transmission first and it just kind of escalated from there because I knew the drivetrain that I wanted. I knew the car that I wanted, but at the time, 5 years ago, if you guys remember during the pandemic, cars were really hard to get because everybody wanted $1 million for them. I eventually found the right car, which is that car behind me. It's a 1995 Acura RS. RS being the base model, no frills, no ABS, no power door lock, no sunroof. So it's a perfect car to do a Type R clone.
What you're saying is it's a fake Type R.
Oh yeah, it's 100% fake Type R because I would never do that to a real Type R. You know how much a Type R goes for nowadays? Shit. When I first got the RS, it's one of the very few that I'd ever seen that was automatic. There was almost a struggle to find kind of the swap over parts, right? So like the pedals and whatnot. And then I also had to accumulate the shifter, the clutch, the flywheel, and all the other accompanying parts to do that swap. So it wasn't just a, you know, pull out engine put in. After I knew I wanted the B series turbo all-wheel drive, the next logical thing was to figure out what the car was gonna look like. During my college years, we used to watch a lot of Best Motoring. One of the things that I really liked was the Integra Type R in Japan had a different nose setup than it did have here. Here in the US, we had the 4 headlights, which are nice. You know, my last 2 Integras had them, but I always wanted a championship white JDM nose Type R. Living in New York in my 20s, it was super difficult to build a car. There wasn't a store that you could just easily drive to and pick up parts. Everything was mail order. It took a million years to get, and we were very limited. In 2019, I moved out to California, and it drastically changed the way I thought and built cars. Here in California, parts are readily available. There's a lot more resources. I met a ton of people who are building these cars. Being on YouTube at the time, you get a lot of perks. One of them is sponsored parts, and this car, I did not want that. This is probably the last time that I'm gonna build an Integra. That being said, I wanted the parts that I wanted. Everything you see in the car, I paid for because those are the parts that I want. Listen, this has been 4.5, 5 years going on, right? And I think I did okay. Most of the times it's still on, you know, on jack stands in someone's garage. So being, you know, running a full-time shop, having 2 kids, and dude, I think I did okay. It's done. It works.
It actually works? It doesn't like SEMA work?
No, this is not a SEMA build. The car actually runs and drives and it does everything it's supposed to do. So now that the car is finished, I've been putting some miles on it. Some good, some bad. You know, the other night I had a wheel bearing failure and an axle failure. So now is the proof of concept. I'm actually gonna take the car to drag and drive events where, you know, you've seen those. They go up and down and race from track to track and you put up a 1/4 mile time. That is what I ultimately wanna do with this car this year. The next steps are probably gonna be to build a trailer and just trailer a bunch of stuff, you know, trailer my equipment behind it. I also wanna do a couple of track days up in Buttonwillow. I don't know, meet up with some friends in you know, in Angel's Crest. I've always wanted to do that. I just never really had the urge to do it with any of my other cars, but this car, I feel like, you know, it deserves it. I deserve it. You know, it's been 5 years. I think this car, people like want to see this car. I want to drive the car. This is one of the most, this car is kind of like, I don't know, the car I really want to drive. Like, this is the car I really want to put miles on. The biggest fight was not to build a YouTube build where it was crazy spoilers, crazy wings, and just like wide body, huge wheels. I did not want to go for that look. I just wanted the clean, classic look. Let me show that to you. First thing you're gonna notice is the nose. This is not a US nose. This is actually the JDM nose. The US cars came with 4 individual headlights. I liked it, but that was my last 2 cars and I really wanted this Japanese nose. The lights are also a little different. I polished and cleared them because they were like 20 years old, you know? So they were kind of hazy. And they're black housings. They're not the HIDs, they're just the regular black housing headlights, but I did put LED lights on. And you're gonna notice also the carbon hood. Why carbon hood? Because everything else is white. It's because it has this vent, right? I realized with the stock hood, sitting in traffic, the temperature would creep a little bit. Believe it or not, that vent right there drops the temperature of the engine bay sitting in traffic by 10 degrees. And obviously, you have a carbon hood, you're gonna need some hold downs. So these are just those little quick push button ones. Didn't really like the hood pin thing, so went with those. Moving around, you also see the clear marker lights. This is just, you know, the standard JDM thing, the clear marker lights, which are attached to my turn signal lights. And the turn signal alternates when you hit the turn signal. This being an RS, there is no sunroof, right? Just like the Type Rs in Japan, there was no sunroof. Keeping with the Type R theme, no body side moldings. So what I did here was weld. There used to be holes here for body side moldings. So I welded all those up and had the body guy just kind of go over them with a little bit of Bondo. Again, keeping with the Type R theme, the car was converted to a 5-lug. The original car was a 4-lug, 32 spline axle. This now is a 5-lug, 36 spline axle. So it's a larger axle, takes a little bit more abuse. While we're at the wheel, you could also see the brakes. I bought this as a 4-lug, and when I did the 5-lug conversion, I didn't buy a conversion kit. So what I actually ended up doing was taking the front knuckles off a CRV. Using Type R rotors, I didn't have calipers, and I wasn't gonna go out and buy Type R calipers because I wanted something a little different. I wanted more stopping power because I'm not just gonna be drag racing this car, I'm gonna be road racing the car and just kind of using the car. These are the front brakes off an NSX. They are 2-piston brakes. Paired with the NSX brakes, those are Hawk rotors and pads. I have actually 2 sets of pads for this car. One is my street pad, which is a less aggressive pad and less dirt, so there's not like a big cloud, you know, every time you stop. And I do have another set of pads, which is a more aggressive pad for this thing. It is also made by Hawk. Shout out to Hawk for making a bunch of different compounds. The rear is pretty much the same. It is also a 5-lug. Using our CRV hub. This one, we're using RSX rear brakes. So if you've ever done this before, you know the RSX rear brakes are kind of upside down. So you have to bleed the brakes and then put them back on. Kind of a pain in the ass, but it saves you a bunch of money from not trying to source Type R calipers, because that's expensive as hell. The wheels themselves, okay, I'm gonna admit those are not spoon wheels. Those are rotor wheels. You know why I went with rotor wheels? Because they're round and they work. And they're light. There you go. But you can't just have like wheels and shitty lug nuts. So these are titanium lug nuts on here. Lug nuts cost just as much as the wheels. It was funny. Anyways, moving around to the back, you could also notice that I shaved the antenna holes just to keep the clean, you know, the clean look. No big wing, no Type R wing. I did not want a Type R wing. I did change the tail lights. These are the tail lights off of US 2000, you know, like the year 2000. The original car came with like yellow turn signals here. It's kind of wonky. Since I was at it, I also got a 2000s rear bumper. It has like this little, you know, this little feature in the bottom. It's like a little valance. Paint started chipping. You know I use it because the paint's chipping. Oh man, I'm laying here. While I'm here down on the ground, I'm gonna show you this nice intercooler that's tucked away behind this front bumper right here. You know, trying to keep the car nice and clean. I didn't want to cut a big old hole in front of it and just show off the intercooler. So if you look really hard, there's an intercooler behind here. All right, so when we painted the car, we took most of the glass out. And this glass here, the front windshield, this is lucky number 3. So this right here is the GPS antenna. This does 2 things for me. 1, it tells me how fast I'm going, and 2, it also helps with my traction control. So that's it, that's the car. This is, like I said, I was trying to stay away from this wild and crazy YouTube build with wings and things sticking all out and crazy colors. This is the car, this is what I want it to look like. Very classic, very clean lines. It's gonna look good forever. Nice championship white Type R. Here goes the door. So here we are in the interior where most projects fail.